Alright, so in the last video I stopped by asking us, is HTML a programming language? And I said that it's coding, but not programming. But that it introduces us to some of the things that programmers use to write programs. And that brings up a good question. What do we need to write HTML files? Really, we do not need much. We need two things: a text editor to write it and a browser to display it. And the awesome thing is with HTML, I promise you that you have a text editor already ready for HTML on your computer. If you're on a Windows, you can go ahead and open up Notepad. If you're on a Mac, you can open up TextEdit. So I am in TextEdit right now. I did a few things just to make it available for HTML. I clicked on Display HTML as HTML. Then I set it as plain text. That's not important right now. What's important is that in TextEdit, which is a free program on Mac OS X that comes with every Mac that you get TextEdit. And with TextEdit, you can write HTML. And this is some HTML that I wrote earlier, but this would work in a browser. I can open this up in a browser and it would work. Now this is a very bare bones text editor. This isn't really a HTML editing environment. This is just a text editor. But this could work. What I would recommend getting, though, is a text editor that's dedicated towards writing HTML and code that's designed for the web. So some that you might hear are Notepad++, which is a free program for the PC, or Text Wrangler, or Sublime Text, or Adobe Brackets, which is a free open-sourced Adobe product. These are all designed to write HTML, to write CSS, to write JavaScript, PHP, and all the stuff that you'll use. And what makes these cool is that they give us some cool things that we don't have on just the plain text editor like this. And I'll show you what that is. So I've opened up a program here called Sublime Text 2 on my Mac. This is the same document that I had open on TextEdit, but you can see here that it looks a little bit different. How does it look different? The tags that I've written are now colored, so I know that they're tags. The content is white, so I know that the stuff that appears on the web page is the stuff that appears in white here. Anything else will not appear on the web page. Some of this extra stuff is a different color, so I know where it is. We have these numbered lines here, so I can see clearly. I can go back and refer to line 10, and that begins my body element, or line 32, where the page ends. These tabs, this is actually something that you can do on your own. This is a styling thing that we'll look up later. But these text editors that are designed for HTML and CSS and all the other stuff that I keep talking about are going to make your writing of HTML a heck of a lot easier and a lot more cleaner and more fun and, more colorful too. You're not going to look at black and white. You're going to look at black and fun colors. Now there is one thing really important that I forgot to mention when I introduced text editors, and that is which programs aren't text editors. So there's a difference between a text editor and a word processor. At work, or when you're writing a novel or something, because you all write novels, when you're doing that, you're probably going to be doing it in a word processor, such as Microsoft Word, or Pages or Google Docs or something. That is not a text editor. That is going to be a little bit different. We can't save something as an HTML file in those and have it displayed properly, because they kind of hide some some formatting code in there that we don't expect and we don't want. With a text editor, you're getting just plain text. All you're seeing on the program is the text that you're going to be writing, nothing else. So avoid Word, avoid Pages, avoid OpenOffice, and avoid Google Docs just for writing HTML. Anything else, it's fine. You can write anything else. I don't care. I'll read it. I promise you. The next question is which browser to use. Also, this is a really good drawing of a browser, and I'm pretty happy about it. How do you get on the internet? That's really the question I ask. If you use Internet Explorer, you can use that. If you use Safari, you can use that. The ones I have here are kind of the most popular ones. Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer via Microsoft, Apple Safari, and Opera, which nobody uses, so don't even. Any of these browsers can read the HTML that you write, and they're going to style it almost identically. There are some few Minor changes that might happen. Someone might format a heading differently than the other browser. But really, any of these can read the HTML that you write, and any of these are, for our purposes at least, for right now, they're going to be just fine. So use what you've been using, use what you're comfortable with. Just so we can get comfortable seeing it, I'll be switching back between Firefox, Google Chrome, and Safari. I don't use Internet Explorer because I don't have a Windows computer, and I don't use Opera because I am not a freak. Now, there are some other programs that you might come across to write HTML. I'm referring here probably most prominently to Dreamweaver by Adobe. Dreamweaver is kind of a full-in-one visual web design program where you can write all the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Well, I shouldn't say write it, you can make it and it'll write it for you. This is perfectly fine for the people who don't want to learn, all of HTML and all of CSS. Dreamweaver is kind of cool because it does kind of the back end of that stuff. The stuff you don't see does it for you, and you can style it visually and how you like it. If you're more comfortable with graphic design, if you're more comfortable with Photoshop, this is a cool option. The problem is you're not really learning HTML or CSS, so you can't really, fine tweak it if you don't really understand it as much. So when I was learning, I kind of avoided this because I wanted to learn from the bottom up. And really, I've never used Dreamweaver. I've seen it used. I have friends who've used it. I don't use it. But it's okay if you do. But if you don't want to, and let me stop rambling right now, you don't have to. It is there. You decide. You are the maker of your own fate.